There we go. We are recording. All right. So welcome everybody to the members meeting. Now, what I'm going to be doing with the group coaching sessions going forward is I'd like it to be more of more the original idea I had. I wanted it to be more around implementation rather than actual tutorials anyway. All the tutorials are in the website and the videos are pretty much there. So what I want to start doing is maybe doing more actual hot seating implementation. Where are you at? Where are your challenges? How can we help with that? You know, and guiding people with the plans going forward. And I am actually going through a little bit of an epiphany and a U-turn to some degree on what I've been doing personally. And also, therefore, that's going to reflect what I'm teaching. And you've seen me banging on about this already in terms of the automation. I've been very much the advocate of doing everything organically up until very, very recently. I have never, even though I've had the facility and the ability and the knowledge to do automated webinars, I haven't done them because I'm a live girl. I like live. I like live webinars. I like Facebook Lives. I love the social element of doing things organically. I love the social element of groups. But I am finding that it's not happening for me as fast as I want it to. I am having some success, as I'm sure you've all witnessed. I'm just going to mute you, Joy, a minute, and then I'm going to unmute you as we go through. Okay, so as you've no doubt noticed, I am having some success. I'm moving forward. Last year was the best year in business I've ever had. This year is looking to be way better than that again, and I'm definitely going up in the right direction. But here's the thing, I'm greedy. I want to spend more time enjoying myself and less time working, especially when I'm on these travels. And one of the things that I'm finding is a lot of what we've been taught by people like Arnie and the gorillas and all the rest of it, it's good, it works, but it's slow. And I've said this all along, you know, you've got two ways of doing this: the organic way, which is free but slow, and the paid ads way and the automation way, which is faster but it's not free. And I'm becoming more and more of the idea that actually, if you really want to get somewhere, by investing some money in the ad side of things and in the non-organic route, will get you where you want to be faster. And you don't have to spend an absolute fortune. But the other thing is, by automating the process, it allows you more time to then go and spend doing what you want, whether that's serving clients, going out and about, having fun, or doing the organic side of the marketing, like going in the groups. Because here's what I've witnessed with my own group, and here's what I've witnessed with other people's groups as well. And that is that people are not getting as far as they want to, anywhere near as quickly as they want to. Doing the whole organic thing in the groups is great, but it takes an awful lot of time and effort and energy. And the minute you drop off from that, I'm sure you've all noticed, engagement crashes. The minute Facebook do something with the algorithm, engagement crashes. And then to get it back again is such a lot of time and effort and energy that you end up putting a lot of effort in and you're not getting the rewards back, which can be extremely discouraging. Now, I'm not saying you don't get rewards, you don't get anywhere from the groups. You do. But it's like, that's like, it's not leaving you, oh my God, I'm so busy, you know, I've got clients like beating my door down kind of thing. And I know I've spoke about this before, and watching Bobby give up on his group was a massive red flag for me, because I thought, well, if Bobby's decided it's not worth his time and effort, I know of nobody who was more consistent and gave more great free content and had an amazing course at a good price than Bobby. And for him to go, I'm ditching it in favor of the other model, it was like, well, okay. And I've just been watching other people, and you can kind of tell where people are at, and they're using the groups. They've come off the ground, a bit like me. They're going up, but they're not rocketing. The people who are rocketing are the people who are using much more automation and much more what's the word? Much more of the paid ad side of things. Now, here's the thing. Even the gorillas, yeah, because I've been around the gorillas now for a year, and if you look at the amount of time that for a start, there's 4 of them. If you look at the amount of time they are spending serving their groups compared to the number of clients that have bought their program, to me, there's a disconnect. Especially when you kind of divide that between 4 people. And I'm thinking, there's got to be an easier way of this. And I'm kind of thinking and in fact, the Gorillas group themselves have just suddenly jumped from 3.5 to 10,000 members or more. And that's because they started doing ads. Okay. And that tells me, why did they need to do ads? Why did they need, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's kind of, and doing the webinars via Facebook Live. Okay, no worries, Barbara. Okay, so Landon's doing Facebook Lives rather than a full-blown webinar. And through analysing what they're doing, analysing what other people are doing, analysing what I've done, what's worked and what hasn't, the webinar is far more effective at getting people on board than a Facebook Live is. Now, Facebook Lives are brilliant for building the audience. And it's almost like the Facebook Live is like a trailer. You know, it gets interest. But it's the webinar where the actual success with the selling happens. And the thing is, when you do a Facebook Live, yes, you can do a presentation, you can share your slides. Now that we've got the technology, you can do that, but you don't get analytics, so you can't be intelligent about what is exactly working and what isn't. So for example, you can have a live and you might say, okay, there's 20 people on, but you don't always know who those 20 people are. Unless people commenting, you don't know who they are. And even when people comment, you don't know whether they've watched the entire thing. You don't know whether they came on halfway through, whether they were on at the beginning and then left. You know, unless people are commenting so that you can determine at what point they were watching, you got no idea. And then again, a lot of the people who are watching, you don't know how many of them are clients already. So you don't get any of this intelligent information than you can get with a webinar. So the other thing is, the thing that takes the time, there's 2 big things which are time swallowers. Number 1 is chasing down potential clients. And that's a lot of time in the group. It's, you know, doing the Facebook Lives, writing content, writing blogs. It's all time spent chasing clients down and trying to build a relationship with them, so that then when you do a live or a webinar or whatever, they're kind of, you know, more likely to come along. It takes a lot of time. Number 2, then persuading people to have a conversation with you. And then what a lot of people complain about, and this is certainly something that's happened to me in the past, is you end up talking to a lot of people who are just not in a position to proceed. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people who say, oh my God, I love what you do. I think you make total sense. I like you. I trust you. I just don't have the money right now. I just cannot afford it. Or I want to work with you. I think we're a good fit, but I need to finish this project first. I'll be available maybe to work with you in 2 months or 3 months' time. what is the point? It's wasting their time as well as yours to have that kind of conversation. So the good thing about an automated webinar as opposed to a live webinar, number one, if you've got the ads right, and I'm not an ad expert, so you know I can, and I'm learning, and I'm going to be including Facebook ad training as I learn, but it's probably worth spending money on a course. I think I mentioned it before. There's a really great course on Udemy. Dara, can you remember his name, Joy? I know you bought his course as well. Anyway, he's awesome. It was £10 blooming, okay? So I'm gonna recommend that, and then start running ads, because if you run the ad to an automated webinar and you follow the presentation stuff that is in my training, to make the webinar convert. And then here's the thing that I'm really excited that I've learned. Okay, if you use something like, I'm using Infusionsoft, it's mega expensive, but you can use Active Campaign for as little as $15 a month. And then with the follow-up system, you send them to, you don't send them to a sales page where they buy a course and then try and upsell them. Remember skiing downhill, get them to book a consultation with you for a higher end thing. And it can all be done using Acuity. So Acuity kind of does the job of both Calendly or Time Trade and Typeform together, in that it's an appointment system, booking system, which forces them to complete a questionnaire. If they don't complete the questionnaire, the appointment doesn't get booked. So they will self-select. In other words, when they go through your booking questionnaire, if they think, I can't afford this, or I don't want to be sold to on that, or I'm not ready for this, they won't book the appointment. I've done it myself. You know, people like Joel Irway, I'm thinking, I'm not ready to spend 18 grand on working with you. Not yet. So I went through the questionnaire to get my hands on his questions. I had no intention actually of doing anything other than getting my hands on his questionnaire. So he's not going to waste his time talking to me, and I'm not going to feel going to put myself in a position where I feel awkward about not proceeding because having to admit that I can't afford it. Yeah. So they self-select. Of the ones who do book, you get all this blooming brilliant information. So you're going to get, are they in startup phase? What's their current income? What's their goals? What's their core offer? Because you want to be working with people who can, you know, afford you, and you get to know a little bit more about their business, and what's one client worth to them, because then you can determine a ROI with them, return on their investment, and all that kind of stuff. So when you go through the questionnaire, you can go, I want to talk to them, I don't want to talk to them, I want to talk to them. So the ones you don't want to talk to, you just cancel the appointment, send them a nice little email saying, you know, you can say what you like. You can either say, I'm, you know, really sorry, the places that were available have gone. Or you can actually say, I don't believe right now you're in a position to work one-on-one with me, but you can send them to something else. You can send them to your Facebook group. You can send them to, you know, I believe that some basic webinar training would get you in the place you need to be before we take the next step. That kind of thing. So you only end up spending your time talking to people who are ready, willing, and able to proceed. Or if they've said, I want to proceed immediately, or in a week, or in a month, or in 3 months, you can say, okay, you've indicated that you're going to be tied up for the next 3 months. Let's reschedule the appointment for 3 months' time. Yeah, and don't have that conversation here and now. Does that make sense, guys? So what I want to do is talk to you all about where you're at in your lead generation and client acquisition system. I'm going to talk to you first, Joy, because I know where you are. Okay, so I'm unmuting you. Cool. So Joy is one of my beta testers for the getting it done for you. So we're putting all of this system in place. And again, you don't have to use Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign or all the rest of it. And also you can do a certain amount of this within ManyChat as well. So let's share with everybody where you're at, Joy, and any questions that you've got for me right here and now about the whole process and what you might be doing outside of what we're doing with the Done For You webinar.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started going online since June. I started with FB Lives on my personal profile. Since then, created a group, tried to gather people together that have an interest in common, and from there tried to siphon some off into a membership group. Then started learning how to do webinars. I haven't gone into Facebook ads yet. I'm still working on narrowing down my niche and my client avatar because there are so many ways to come to what I'm providing. But my latest one is to appeal to high achieving women who are in corporate or in highly paid jobs such as doctor or banker or whatever, and who are approaching or have reached burnout, and for me to show them a way through that, how they can cope with the stresses that are leading to it, or how they can cope with burnout if they've already reached it. So I don't know what else.
The thing is, sorry, go on.
I started looking into chatbots. I've got a basic one set up now for my business page, and I'm looking to kind of, fluff that out and extend it and so on, because, you can really put lots of sequences in there, can't you? So
absolutely. And what I admire about Joy is she's an action taker. She hasn't been doing the whole internet marketing stuff very long, and already in 6 months she's beyond. I mean, a lot of people that I started with six years ago, you've done more in 6 months than some people have done in 6 years. So, hats off for that. And I think it's also fair to say Joy has had some really good success. Okay. Oh, she's had to go, but now I can talk about her in her absence. So Joy's had some success. She's had people coming through from her group, joining her paid group, which is superb. So she's got a little bit of, so she's got some regular recurring income, which is fantastic. She's also picked up some one-to-one clients, but I think she will agree with me that for the amount of effort, it's not enough. For the amount of effort that goes in, we all want more. We don't want to be working harder than we have to. So yeah, I was just saying, Joy, you've had some success, which has been brilliant, but for the amount of effort you put in, it's kind of not enough yet, is it?
That's right. Yeah.
So it's not going to kind of replace the day job yet. So it's about ramping it up, and this is where the automation comes in, and the ads and everything comes in. Because the other thing that you can do with ads is you suddenly reach a whole new audience. When you're doing it organically, you're saying the same message to the same people over and over again, and it starts to lose its impact. Whereas with Facebook ads, you start getting the lookalike audiences. So you start getting much more viral, much more quickly. And the other thing is, for me, it's encouraging you now about doing, continue with some live stuff, continue with the live webinars, Facebook lives and all the rest of it, but the automation is what's going to really free you up. And once you've got an automated system that is working perfectly, then you can start advertising it organically, like on LinkedIn and on Instagram and on Twitter and all the rest of it. But then you can also start running ads to it, and that's where the magic starts to happen. Have you got any questions? I mean, so what we're doing with Joy at the moment is we're working on an automated webinar in Easy Webinar. We're going to be setting that up. Have you decided yet on your autoresponder, or are we just going to do what we can integrating with ManyChat?
I'm probably going to go with ActiveCampaign, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay, ideal. Because here's the good thing, and this is where it gets tricky. Easy Webinar integrates really super intelligently with Active Campaign. And if you're just starting out and you've got a small list, anything under 500 people is only $15 a month for Active Campaign. But what happens is Easy Webinar will tell Active Campaign, oh, this person registered, but they watched or didn't watch. But more than that, this person watched this percentage of the webinar. So you can see where people are dropping off if they are. Or this person watched it all the way through and they saw your offer and they clicked on it. Or this person saw the offer and didn't click on it. And within Active Campaign, you can set up different follow-up sequences. So instead of having one generic email at the end saying, hey, thanks for registering for the webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't see it, here's the replay. You know, it's a bit, pardon the expression, but it's a bit like a wet fart in a paper bag. It doesn't do anything, you know. Whereas when you've got this intelligent stuff, you can literally send a different email depending on the behavior. I've said this before, so I'm not going to repeat it in minute detail. If you don't want to get Active Campaign, you can do a certain amount using ManyChat. You can, if you don't want to get Easy Webinar, you can actually use ManyChat to deliver it. You don't get the same stats, but what I want you to do is at least do something. So make up your mind. Do I want to pay for Easy Webinar and Active Campaign? Chris, you've got Webinar Jam. Have you got Ever Webinar as well, or just Webinar Jam?
I haven't got either anymore. The Webinar Jam subscription runs out in 4 days because we, as you know, we used it quite a bit, but then stopped for quite a long time. And then with all their changes and the glitches, and then they relaunched, and then the prices went up. I thought, oh no, I've had enough of these.
Okay. And to get Webinar Jam and Ever Webinar is actually really expensive, whereas Easy Webinar, it's not as cheap as it used to be. But they've also brought out a monthly thing now. And again, you don't want that many live attendees because most of us don't get, like, you know, shed loads on. Up to 50 attendees live, but with the automated feature, is $78 a month. So it's not cheap, but it's way more intelligent than just doing it through, say, Zoom and ManyChat. However, if anybody's in a position where I really don't want to spend that kind of money right now, you can do the whole thing in ManyChat and use ManyChat tagging. It's not as good as going the Active Campaign Easy Webinar route, but what I want everybody to do is have at least one automated lead generation system that is working, and all you have to do is feed leads in at the front end and then get appointments in the diary out at the back end. I haven't yet. I'm working on the automation of where the booking system comes in between Acuity and ManyChat. ManyChat and because another piece of software which I'm beginning to fall in love with very quickly is Zapier. Zapier has a free account. You can do quite a lot with free. And even the premium account, I've got a premium account and I'm paying $20 a month. But it's that automation which frees you up. So what I want to do is try and encourage you and say, all right, tell me where you're at, tell me what you'd consider, and let's do it. And then each time we have one of these sessions, it's right, how far have you got? Where are you struggling with? What are your sticking points, and what's next? So Joy, before I move on to the others, what questions do you have, if anything, around what we're doing right now? Or any comments that you just want to share with anybody else? Ideas that you might want to ask for? You're muted, by the way.
there are so many things for me to do. It feels like if I ask any more questions, I'm going to get landed with more things to do.
And that's it.
Ask any more questions. It's like, oh, I've got enough to do already.
Yeah, and it's take it one step at a time. And I'm not going to lie to you.
Branched out to doing something. I mean, I've opened a transformation lounge. Have you seen that?
No. And this is the thing, because at the moment I'm working on putting my automation process in place. I've kind of almost been AWOL. I've even been AWOL from my own group, let alone anybody else's, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. Setting up the automation so that it works is a lot of work. That's exactly why I never did it before.
Yeah.
That's why I've always done it live before. It's quicker, it's easier. You don't have to pay attention to detailing quite the same way. Automation, this is why to set up an automated funnel, people are charging in excess of 20,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I took your offer. I don't do all that work. I'm already doing enough.
Exactly. And it's funny because this is the other thing I'm seeing. The people who are getting the furthest, the fastest are outsourcing. They're outsourcing certain things and paying a lot of money for, like, you know, the whole funnel thing being done for them. But there's also things you can do, and you can outsource to people from the Philippines, you know, for peanuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the direction I'm going to be going in myself this year. And you can literally hang on my coattails. And as I learn about outsourcing, the goods, the bads, and the uglies, I'll be teaching you. Because otherwise we end up caught in the organic live content creation, struggling, talking, and we will get a level of success, but there's a ceiling on it. And I'm all about blasting through that ceiling. Okay, so all right, so cool. I mean, Joy, please do feel free to post in the group any questions that you've got, anything that you love about the process, anything that you find frustrating, because that's going to help everybody and it's going to help me too. So it's going to be an interesting journey. So Chris, let's come to you next, because where do you see automation happening for you, and where would you see the automation being the next logical step for you to put in place?
Yeah, I've been having a think as we've been on, and you know, we've got our signature system that we're working on. So I think once that's more up together, there's definitely an opportunity there to talk to our two avatars that we're working on. And that might be either one message or probably two different ones. But then leading through into the consultation, potential high value clients starting at the top. Then there's an option there. As you know, again, we've still got our program that we did, the online program. So there's an opportunity there for an automated webinar to do a bit like we did, you know, to get bums on seats for the live webinars last year. And then the funnel there is to lead them through into buying that, either buying the program or getting in touch, one or two. But if it's to individuals, probably buying the program. We've also got those 4 standalone webinars that we did before that, which might...
Yeah, you can still repurpose those. I mean, this is the beautiful thing about this, all right? An automated webinar process with the traffic going to it, the follow-up email sequences, and all the integration and everything that happens. Once you've done it once, it becomes easy. It's easier and easier and easier, because the thing is, you can clone a lot of it. You can clone flows in ManyChat. You can clone, if you've got Easy Webinar, you can clone an entire webinar. If you've got something like ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft, you can clone a campaign. So once you've done it once, it becomes easier. And like you were saying, Joy, and like you're saying as well, Chris, and it's the same for me. You've got lots of entry points. That's what a funnel is. So you've got lots of entry points, and you just set up automation for all of these, bringing people in so that your time isn't doing all of this bit. your time is talking to the people who've come through that and are self-selecting. So you could do an automated funnel to sell that program that you've already done and recorded on autopilot. So once you put the work in at setting the automation process up, all you've got to do is run ads to it, and then the sales come in and the delivery is all on autopilot.
Yeah.
What could be better than that? The work is setting it up in the first place. So which route would you see working for you? Something like the automated webinar or ManyChat?
ManyChat's the chatbot one on the Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, probably not ManyChat because of suspicion that, you know, our clients are going to be hanging more around LinkedIn and places like that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. So for you it would be the probably the automated webinar. And if you don't want to pay for EverWebinar, and do you want to do live webinars still as well?
Not really. I've kind of been, I feel like it's like everything you say and I remember, it's like it's so much work. I have nothing against.
I mean, I do love live webinars, but you can do that in Zoom.
Yeah, and
so you might find that EverWebinar, just buying EverWebinar on its own would work for you. Alternatively, Easy Webinar, you know, and that gives you the option of doing a live if you want to. Yeah,
nothing against it. It's just all the work that goes into doing it. I love the idea of having something set up to run, you know, the recorded ones that generates the revenue. I've not, you know, obviously nothing against all that, but just the whole admin and the setting up and the sales pages and the everything just to get 7 people attend I just didn't enjoy that at all.
But if you're going to get clients online, this is where the ads, you would have got more bums on seats by running ads.
But
you know, it worked, even though there were only 7. At least
that was just an example. I mean, we did loads of, and we got high, you know, we've had 20 odd and so on. But it was just the effort to get that. It's like,
But, I mean, so here's the thing: webinars have been proven that if you get enough people to them, they do convert. Especially now that you're following the format that I showed you. They don't convert if it's all education with just a offer at the end. We know that. You've got to build the psychology in. But at the same time, we don't want to piss people off with a long, boring hero's journey story followed by. But although it's a lot of work, once it's done, it can run on autopilot. And then it keeps going.
Yeah, I think once we've got, like, so whether it's the changed bit or, you know, a package program of one of those two things, once it's ready, I'll have nothing against going all out and doing, you know, at least one big live that we can record and then evergreen it. Yeah, it's fine. It's just something's got to be done, I guess. But probably not ready yet because we're still putting the change stuff together.
Yeah, sure. No worries.
And working out the other parts of the funnel.
Yeah, and what Chris is doing is he's putting a signature system together that's going to really position themselves as an expert within the field of managing change for senior managers. And it's going to be super awesome because they know their shit. They're brilliant. I love them. So, but the thing is, then it's like all of this is what helps you stand out from being just another trainer in the melee of management trainers out there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, although it's really strange, the two things, the signature system will mean that you will rise up in the perception of others, but so will the automated webinar, because how many people have automated webinars? Not that many, because number one, it takes know-how. Number 2, it takes time. Or number 3, it takes money to pay somebody to do it all for you. And therefore, once you've got one, people see, oh my God, these people, your perception goes up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm aiming to get people. Because doing it in the groups, it does work, guys. I mean, you know, that's why I taught it to you. It worked for me. It got me from struggling and having to supplement my income with other work. It got me to a point where I'm making my living totally online and not having to do any of the other stuff. So I'm not knocking it. It works. But what I'm saying is I want more for the effort I'm putting in, and I want more for you, because I know you guys all work hard. I know you put effort in, and I'm seeing that there is a way for you to get more coming in for less effort. It's just like the change curve. It goes down before it goes up.
Yeah.
Oh, Joy's looking a bit cold there. So it's cool. It's nice here. It's only -2.
Mm-hmm.
And we got sunshine. Yeah, so yeah, but once you've done that work putting it together, it becomes so much easier from there on. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Cool.
it does.
And Barbara, how about you? Where are you at in your client acquisition journey?
Hi there. We've taken a completely different tack,
Okay.
which has been an interesting one. We have published now 3 magazines and books on personal and professional development. And we've got a lot of people who've contributed towards them, which is fantastic. So now we're looking at creating the supporting material of what goes behind those. So our approach has been to now truly look at a multi-level tier membership area and to release stuff in there on a monthly basis, on a bi-monthly basis.
Yeah.
And people who subscribe in whatever way they want to subscribe have access to the current material,
Yeah.
the history, and obviously as they continue to subscribe, the future. But the difference is they are going to have access to us through a forum. So we're not doing it on a one-to-one appointment, perspective, in as much as I have to be there at a certain time to meet with somebody. We've made the decision that, as you said, Tina, life is for living. that we can access their requests, their questions, their whatever it is, within a set period of time, so they're not left sitting there with no support. And one of us will go back to them every day.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. And actually, interestingly enough, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing the done for you stuff, because rather than spending lots of time talking to people, teaching them to do it, I'm spending less time actually on calls with them and more time doing the actual work, which I can do offline when I don't have internet and when it's convenient for me. So that's a good model. Okay, so the question now is, how are you driving members to your membership site? How are you getting people to sign up?
Now therein lies the challenge, because we should have had a meeting this morning with the guy who's actually doing that job, and he had to pull out. We're having it on Friday.
Okay.
But what we've done is we've actually brought in somebody who's only just left university on a profit sharing basis and we just call it monetize the system.
Okay, so I guess until you have that meeting, you don't know.
No, and that's the problem. But by bringing somebody in who's technology aware, systems aware of, again, somebody talked about, I think Joy talked about target market, really getting that target market clear. Now we're in an interesting position because our target market is huge, absolutely unbelievably huge. And with the research, we know that something like $15 billion was spent in 1 year on our niche.
And
in
your
the
niche
USA.
is?
Personal and professional development.
Yeah, that's a very wide niche.
And therein lies the challenge. But having that very wide niche gives you that opportunity to tap into big markets like that. And having done the research and knowing that that marketplace is already there, we've made the decision not to replace anything that's in it, but to add value.
Yeah. How?
And by picking up somebody who understands what those target markets are looking for to do our client finding, membership building, etc., you know, customer based at the end of the day, has been the way we decided to go forward.
Okay, so what is the content you're delivering? What is the problem that you're solving that people join up for?
The focus that we've taken is anyone can go out there and find a coach, anyone can go and find a mentor, anyone can find a counselor, anyone can find a one-to-one support. But you know, there's a huge percentage of people who don't want to, as we've been talking about today, have that one-to-one relationship. They want to be able to pick up something and do it themselves. So for example, one of the things I'm doing, and you're going to smile at this, is a step-by-step series. So what do I do for step 1? What do I do for step 2? And taking them through.
Step-by-step series to do what, though?
To achievement, to success, to getting what you want to get.
In what? Yeah, achievement in what area?
In their own life area. So if somebody wants to, you know, for example, we often talk about, as a child we had a hobby, and I want to carry on that hobby. Or I know from being a consultant, you know, I started to learn to play golf, and do I have time to do it as a consultant? No. How do you get that back? And you can't in today's world easily do that because we're busy. It's not like you're sitting there with time on your hands going, how do I fill this minute of the day? So it's a step-by-step process that allows you to look internally and find out what's blocking you.
Yeah.
And then move forward over that block. But
how many members have you got right now?
We are starting with a database of 20,000.
Yeah, but how many people are paying you? How many people are paying members of the site?
It hasn't been launched today. It's being launched at the end of next month.
Right. Okay. And what is because the thing is, what we're talking about here is, I get where you're coming from because it's a huge industry, but if you keep it too vague and too non-specific about helping you achieve success.
No, and that's why we've taken this one step back, because that's why we've decided to publish a magazine, publish an ebook, because each one of them has a very clear focus. Okay. And that allows us to hit that focus. So for example, the one I'm working on right now is no.
Saying no.
No, not saying no, thinking no, doing no, being no.
Okay.
Knowing when to say yes. Knowing when to say no.
Okay, because what you have to do, and here's the thing, this is where the automation can come in to help you. You can have several funnels leading to the same system, but you're going to have to make it obvious. Is anybody lying awake at night thinking, oh my God, I need to learn how to think no. I need to learn how to be no.
Yes.
That's not the language. No, they don't. They might be overwhelmed, and they might be thinking.
No, the research shows that that question of the ability. So if you look at today, if you look at the millennials, they know how to do it. Yeah. They're good at it.
Absolutely.
And because they are, you then, those who are in the older generations are saying, but how do we do it? So people are looking, and this is where, I mean, I'm working with a team of 4, which is great. It's not just me. But this is where people are starting to seriously go, how are they doing it that I can't? And of course,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're not lying there thinking, oh, I need to learn how to be no. I need to learn how to think no. That's not what they're lying, and that's not what they're going to spend their money on. What they are going to spend their money on is, I want to be like the millennials. I want to do what they're doing.
Yeah. And that's where our marketing
solution is how to think no and how to be no. But you don't necessarily sell that solution. You have to sell on the pain and the problem that they are presenting.
Which is exactly what the marketing is doing.
Yeah. So you've got So
what we've done is we've done the research on what works for a particular group of people, whether it's a generation, whether it's a culture, it doesn't matter. So what works for a particular group of people, and what are other people looking at that would like to be able to do that as well? So, for example, somebody said to me the other day, did you see the opening ceremony of the Olympics? How genteel were those people? How kind, how caring did they portray? And how many people do you know who would like to be able to portray like that? So it's picking up those sort of areas and looking at the I suppose to some extent it's looking at the behaviors and the habits of others, and then looking at whether people want to pick those up and generate them. And we're looking at those problems.
Yeah, but this is the thing. You've also got to differentiate between, oh yeah, that would be nice, to, oh my God, I absolutely have to do this, and I'm willing to pay money to do this.
Yeah, and that's where the marketing team are driving the rest of the team, because the marketing team are looking at, how do we promote this? This is what's needed. So we're not coming from the other side, which is often where you come from, like, this is what I can do, so this is what I can offer. We've actually done it the other way around.
Mm.
And in doing so, we've actually fired 3 marketing people. Not that they haven't given us great stuff, but they haven't delivered on the back of it. And I know you and I've had that conversation many times before.
Mm.
And that's why I've got somebody new in who we're talking to on Friday, who's going to present to us based on this research that we have.
Okay, bye, Chris. Okay, cool. So, I mean, the thing is,
so the question that I can't answer today is, because, as I say, we normally have a meeting on a Wednesday morning, which is great because then I can come into here and tell you what's going on. But for reasons beyond my control, it didn't happen. So they've literally, we can't move it to tomorrow, we've moved it to Friday. And our task at the moment is not only preparing the next step of stuff, which obviously we're doing right now, because we don't want to stop the flow of information to those who are following right now. But we do want to start to look at gaining bigger numbers.
Sure. So the marketing people, am I right in thinking they are volunteers, but they will participate in a profit sharing scheme if they do well? Yeah.
The whole team is based on that.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, because I'm not prepared.
And how much marketing experience and knowledge do they actually have?
Success in a similar market, not the same.
Okay.
Again, very much down what Chris is doing, management leadership. One of the guys is very, very good at recruitment, especially finding work for coaches and mentors in his particular area of the world. So there's a lot of people who come in with, quite a good background into our team and into what we're doing, which is great. But we put everybody on a 3-month trial.
Okay, cool. Because and what I'm keen to know next time we come on is how they are going to identify the niches, the ideal customer avatars, what the pains and the problems are, and how you're going to automate the process of getting them to sign up as paying members.
Yeah, and that's what we're waiting to find out.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, because we do know our market, we do know our niche, although it sounds strange. We've actually selected a market that we're aiming at. We've got a whole load of really good stuff going on.
Even within a market, you're going to have different ideal customer avatars. And it's important that you have a different funnel entry to each of those different ideal customer avatars. Because just saying personal and professional development is just too wide, it's too vague, people are not going to relate to it.
And every marketing campaign we have, every social media campaign we have, targets something. It doesn't target big picture, if that makes sense.
Yes. Because even if you look at what I'm doing, I mean, the analytics that I've got are showing, for example, that so speaking and webinars, it's quite specific compared to professional personal development. But even within my niche, for example, the intelligence that I've got is that twice as many men in the 25 to 35 age group above women. So in the 25 to 35 age group, twice as many men are interested in what I do than women.
Yeah.
In the 45 to 55 age group, twice as many women than men are interested in what I'm doing.
And you see, our target is the 45 to 55 women and the millennials.
Yeah, so you need two completely different funnels.
Exactly.
Completely different marketing messages.
And also, we also have to have the marketing down the personal side. And I think it's 3 levels of professional, because it's whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're a director. You know, there's a different professional sides.
Yeah, because the thing is, the other thing is, you need to make it really apparent that within the membership area, the solutions, because you can't be all things to all people.
And we're not trying to, but we're also, I suppose this comes, Tina, from our coaching background, we're also trying to make sure we can help those who want the help, but we appreciate that we can't target every single person in that group, because there are going to be people out there, you know, as we all know, who want the help but won't come forward to ask for it.
And there's also people who are just not prepared to do the work, and are not prepared to invest in themselves.
Yep. And who actually want it handed to them on a plate. Yeah. And that's never going to happen, because they've got to do the work. And you and I know that.
Absolutely.
So we're, to some extent, we keep, I mean, every month we have this conversation about, you know, are we focused on the right target market? Have we got the right target market? We actually do have that conscious conversation. And we've noticed that in what we're doing is that, you know, in this one it's that market, and in this one it's a slightly different market. And that's helped the marketing side really understand. And then they started doing the research, and it's coming back.
You know, it's funny actually, because I know that coaches and consultants are a large part of your target market. I had a really interesting conversation with somebody on a mastermind call yesterday. He was told to keep away from coaches and consultants.
And I understand that.
Because actually, out of anybody, they are the least coachable people. And it's really funny, because I also struggle with this. And in my experience, you know this, I've been working with coaches myself now for flipping 15 years or more. And in my experience, a lot of the problem with coaches is they think too much. Like, there are a small percentage of coaches and consultants who just go, yeah, that's an action, I'm going to move forward on that action, I'm going to implement it. Joy is one of them. You know, there are so many people though, they say they'll see something advertised. They are like squirrels. Bright shiny objects, new method, new training, new this, and they'll go off and they'll pursue it, and they'll go, I've changed my mind, I want to do it this way. I've just been on a weekend conference and I'm all about this now. And then you start, and then they'll go, no, now I'm all about that, and I want to work with these people, and I'll be honest, a lot of them are a frigging nightmare.
And I agree with you completely.
I've done it myself, and I know because I've done it myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to be really actually quite firm with identifying who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with, because otherwise you'll end up getting swallowed up by all the
and our market isn't the coaching, consulting, mentoring market.
Cool.
Our market is the in one market is the professional 45 to 55-year-old ladies.
You enjoy to talk. There's a collaboration there.
Yeah, because our market is seriously looking at those ladies. I mean, when you consider it, Tina, I know you know this of me, but I've had 7 different careers. And if I'd had somebody or something that I could have referred to after the first couple, you know, I might have made different choices. I might have made better choices in the choices I made. You never know.
Yeah.
Hindsight's a great thing. So we're sort of focusing on those ladies who are coming to a point where they either want to progress in what they're doing, they want to change what they're doing, because today's market is a great market for change. You know, when I had a career opportunity at school, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was a really small market, and it's huge today.
Yeah.
And it's confusing.
Yeah.
And people don't have to stay in what they're doing. They can change. And this is where we're aiming. We're actually aiming at that market, that professional market.
Okay, cool. That's good. That now is, I feel we've got something more definite than where we were at 10 minutes ago. I'm going to have to wrap this up shortly, because I have to kind of be leaving here in about 10 minutes. But I actually think you and Joy would benefit from having a conversation, because what you're talking about is helping people with coming up with some options in a practical next step choices and that kind of thing. And what Joy does is works with the same market, but on a much, and I don't mean just on a coaching basis, but a much more deeper therapy basis on the internal stuff and on the inner stuff and the whole mind and heart connection with where they're at. So I think you two could probably refer people to each other. Oh, you muted. So anyway, what I'm going to suggest is maybe at some point you get together and have a little conversation, see if there's some room for collaboration and you know, just swapping ideas and all of that kind of thing.
If Joy wants to drop me her email address, then we can put a plan together. Yeah,
or even just connect through the group or whatever. Okay, so any questions from either of you before or certainly about how you see automation helping you to achieve what you want to do?
I'll let you know.
Cool. All right then. So I am looking forward to hearing what you've got to say next time, Barbara, after you've had the meeting. I want to make sure these marketing people are, I mean, what they do offline, great, that's their expertise or whatever, but I want to make sure that they are on the right path when it comes to using automation in the online world. Cool. Thank you for coming and joining me. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you guys so much for giving up your time and being here with me. Otherwise, it would be very lonely talking to myself. One of the things I'm going to be starting to do shortly is advertising this group. And it's for people who they're not going to get it free anymore. If they buy a program, they're going to have to pay monthly to be here. And I'm going to be offering it. They don't have to buy any of my programs, but they can just be here. They'll soon find out. If they want to learn what goes along with this implementation, they're going to have to buy the program. So, but they may know a lot of it already and just want help with the implementation. So in which case that's fine. Cool. Have an amazing rest of your day. I know it's getting on to late afternoon, early evening for you guys now. So have an amazing one, and I'll talk to you very soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Tina.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.